Eli Wiesel was a Nobel Prize winner, and um, recently he had a home in Romania, which was still there. He died um, in 2016, but he had a home in Romania. That's where they were, and it was um, sort of kept as a monument to this Elie Wiesel, who was from um, Romania. And somebody lately came and um, put graffiti all over the house, read in part, Nazi Jew lying in hell with Hitler, and public toilet anti-Semite pedophile. And this was vandalism, no question about it, to this home, which is an historical monument in Romania, and it's a museum. But the question is that he died, and then what would Romanian officials do about that, and do about the people that did this damage? Um, they did have some statutes on that in Romania about people that committed vandalism and episodes of anti-Semitism, but the law imposed sentences between 3 months and 10 years for those found guilty in the distribution of anti-Semitic materials and the creation of anti-Semitic organizations. But the government really never has pursued it. In fact, they passed a new statute lately, and there's nobody in the government, for some reason, really pushing this. And actually, the kids that put the graffiti on, the government did nothing, no charges. And you wonder, they even have, they had a law in 2002, and now they passed another law regarding this, but the Romania, which was allied with Nazi Germany from 1940 to 1944, had a pre-war population of Jewish people of about 800,000. Jews lived in Romania between 1940 and 1944. The Jewish population in Romania now is less than 11 million. So that means there were 790 million people that left somehow, but we're talking about 60 years later now, 70 years later, and the other thing in Romania, as Mr. Wiesel states, that during the war years, 280,000 to 380,000 Jews died in Romania or in areas under its control. And then Wiesel died in 2016. Wiesel and his whole family were sent to Auschwitz, which we know is one of the worst camps that there was. He was born in 1928, and at the age of 15, his whole family was sent there. His mother and youngest sister died at the camp. Mr. Wiesel, who became an eloquent witness for the 6 million Jews that were slaughtered, and who wrote dozens of books on the Holocaust, including one of them called Night, which was on the bestseller list for decades. He was awarded the Nobel Prize in 1986. And supposedly Romania now wants to quiet all this down about people doing things like they did to his memorial house, but I don't know, there's nobody that's really pushing it. And the fact that Romania was tied to Germany during the war, um, it's a strange situation. And they want to sort of forget about the Holocaust in Romania now, but I really don't think they can, because there were so many people fighting against the Jews, that's my opinion, in Romania, for Romania, and you're just not pressing these people like these kids that put this graffiti on Mr. Weisel's house. The other thing we're going to talk about today is three Nazi soldiers. Three Nazi soldiers, and these three soldiers, they worked at a death camp in Poland where there were about 6,000 Jews killed in a day. And then that was in 1943, making it the largest killing operation against Jews in the entire war. And then somehow these three officers, they were in the Nazi army, SS, in 44, right before the war ended, they cut the fence and got out, three of them. And they made a run for it, and actually, you won't believe it, but all three of them ended up in New York City. And they got passports. They were fake passports, and the one guy witnessed the other two and said no, they were good. So there were three of them, and then they all lived over in New York City, in Queens. Three of these guys that were soldiers in the Nazi army, and actually their job was working the death camps. So they killed Jews every day. That's all they did. And then a lot of days there were 6,000 people they killed. That's a lot of people. Then, so they all ended up in New York City with these fake passports, and then they were from Poland, and they worked at the camps, and they were in Poland at that time, between 41 and 45, there were about 1.7 million Jewish adults and children were murdered in Poland. So then somehow they got the fake passports, went to the United States, and they were living in Queens, and they had little jobs, and nobody knew that they, by any means, that they were working in those camps, putting people in the ovens and burning them. Nobody knew it. Finally, it was discovered. They found in 1990, after the Berlin Wall fell, they found some records in Czechoslovakia, and these people's names were in it. And they start checking, and they figured who they were. Then they said, now we got to get rid of them. And they filed to take away their passports. The one guy ended up in Florida in 2010. He died. A second guy died in 2007 in Queens. And then the last guy, it's really the main one in the article, his name was Mr. Palij, P-A-L-I-J, P-A-L-I-J. And he wanted to finish his life and stay in Queens, and he was 95 years old, because that war they were fighting was back in the 40s. And recently the Trump administration spent months pressuring Germany to accept his return. They knew they had him, they knew where he was, they wanted to send him back to Germany. And most people in these other countries, nobody wanted him. Germany, Poland, and Ukraine, they had repeatedly refused to take him. They didn't want him back. They don't care who he was and what he did. So finally, Trump talked to Germany, and he put this guy, wheeled him out of his house, and put him on a chartered air ambulance to Dusseldorf, Germany, and he sent him back to Germany. And the thing that makes this important is they don't want this guy in the United States that worked in putting people in the ovens in Germany, and now he's back in the U.S. enjoying his life, because they don't want the memory of the Holocaust like that. They want him out of here, and they got him out, and that made a lot of people happy. Thank you.